You're listening to Season 3, Episode 11 of the Indie Film Tribe podcast with me, your host, Angela Matamocha. Welcome! Hi there, good people. Hi. Angela Matamocha here of Indie Film Tribe. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I am super duper excited about our guest for a couple of reasons. First thing, I've never had a guest like this on Indie Film Tribe, but I think you guys are all going to learn a lot from her. I find her to be extremely inspiring, especially for those of us artists that are trying to sort of trailblaze our own sort of path, which is what I think she has done. She is one of the original OG YouTube sensations. She is an actress and she is a super talented, most hilarious comedian. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Miss GloZell Green. GloZell, welcome.
Thank you. Hello, this is GloZell. Is you okay? Is you good? Because I want to know. I'm so thankful to be on your show today, and I will tell you the ins and outs of my life.
And I gotta say, I love that. Is you okay? Is you good? Tell me, because I like to know. I love that. How did you come up with that?
How did I come up with that? Well, I was doing stand-up, and I thought, okay, you need to engage the audience. So I would come out, and I was a really big fan of the show Friends, and Joey from the show Friends would say, how you doing? So I would come out and like, how you doing? And everyone was like, oh, yeah. But there's a talk show host named Wendy Williams.
Yes.
And she says, how you doing?
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, that's not, I was getting it from Friends. I was just saying something. I'm like, oh, no, they're going to think I got it from her. So I was like, how you doing? Is you doing okay? Is you all right? And then one day I said, is you okay in a video? And I don't even know what video because no one listened to the video. Everyone was like, is you okay? Where'd you get that from? Ah! It was an act. I was like, is you okay? I'm like, it got a lot of response. So I kept that. Hello, this is GloZell. Is you okay? Is you good? Because I wanted to know. And I just left it like that. And that's how it was. And nobody else is trying to copy that foolishness.
No, because you can't, because it's so you. It's so you. For those people that are listening or watching and don't know, because honestly, I did it, my old butt had no clue, you have been on the internet, YouTube specifically, for 10 years. What is it that you do online? Please tell people.
What do I do online? I've been on for a decade. That is just so crazy because there's literally people who've grown up with me.
Literally.
You know, started with me who now they have their own kids and they're watching. So the question is how I started on YouTube or what I do on YouTube.
What do you do for people that have never seen your channel?
I do complete and totally, a lot of tomfoolery. It is crazy. If you want to get away from the ins and outs of your life or turn off the news and just check out, come to my channel because it is silly, it is fun, it is light, and we're not talking about really any heavy stuff there. I'm doing challenges, I'm interviewing people. It's just fun. That's it. And sometimes, it's a little outrageous.
Oh my gosh, it sure is. And talking about interviewing people, you interviewed President Obama.
Yes, I love that you say President Obama. I say former president. But
I know. My bad.
Yes, that was very exciting. That's when I felt like I made it to like my mom's group,
Yeah.
But before, you have fans, and I've been making a living and doing that, the internet. But to my mom, who just can't turn on the TV and see me, it nothing clicked of what I was doing until it was like, you want me, Obama? Oh, that's my baby. I'm so proud of him. I'm like, I've been on the internet forever. But so that made me happy that finally, it's something she can connect with and she can talk to her friends about. You can't tell people who are in their 60s, 70s, 80s, hey, she's on this video. What's that? So it was a generational gap that bridged because I got a chance to do that. So I thank him for that. I do, because I'm like, my mom body's like, oh, okay, she's gonna be all right. She's gonna be all right.
Aww. You know what? I know that there's so many directors, writers, independent filmmakers that can definitely relate to that sort of question. You know, if you're from the Midwest or from the South and you go to Hollywood and you're doing your thing and people don't really quite know what it is you do. What are you doing? You know, so I can only imagine what that must have been like you, because not only are you an entertainer, but online, where 5-10 years ago it was like, what?
Right. No one knew exactly what I was doing.
What did you tell people? How did you explain what you did?
Well, I said that I'm an entertainer, I'm a comedian online, but there was no such thing as online. There was no such thing as internet. It was not a word or words that people understood at all. Only young people did. And that was, for the long time, that was my only audience. Like summers or going to Disney or anything with kids, I am bombarded. You know, anything with adults, no one knew who I was until the President Obama interview. Then that branched out so that people were coming up to me who didn't have kids. I was always looking for the kids. Well, how you know who I am? Oh, you interviewed the president? Oh, okay. Then going through like the airport, everybody at the TSA, I promise you, everybody at TSA saw that interview. Well, come on through here. I'm getting warned all kinds of ways, and people taking pictures. So that was really great. It really brought in my audience, and it made me feel good that people appreciated what I did.
That's so key what you said, too, about having a younger audience and having this audience grow up with you, and they're now having kids. My niece, who is 14, she literally did the cinnamon challenge. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, oh my gosh, me and my friend, when we were like, 7 years old, blah, blah, blah. She's 14 now, right? But she's like, I grew up with GloZell. I'm like, you're kidding me. How come it explains a lot. It explains a lot. It's a wonderful feeling. I can only imagine knowing that you have these fans that have literally been with you since they're like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old.
Yes, and it's really nice to be considered a legend and somebody you grew up with, and totally non-traditional, because I have those people that I've grown up with, that I love, that I've run into, that I've watched on television. You got your met Carol Burnett, and I thought I was gonna pass out. This is somebody I watched, growing up, and she was a lady who had a show, that was unheard of outside of Lucille Ball. Like, no one else was doing that, and it was funny.
Are those your sort of idols or women that you've looked up to? Trailblazers, like yourself.
Trailblazers, and there's many more. You have your Ellens, and anybody who's made, especially coming from the stand-up route, because I know that it was hard. It's hard. Like, it is ruthless. It's hard between the men, the women and the men, because you're fighting for that time. Now the internet has started, and now there's other outlets, but then that was it. You hope, and people would do anything for 3-5 minutes because, this producer's in the audience, or this celebrity's in the audience.
Let's talk about that. And this is actually one of the main things I really was so excited to have you on about, because in my mind and in many people's minds, you are a trailblazer. And one of the reasons is, now we know what a YouTube sensation is. 10 years ago, we had no idea. So what's very fascinating to me when we first met and we had our talk, one of the things you said is that you knew early on that you wanted to be a comedian. You wanted to be a comedian. So take us along that path of what you saw back home growing up, and where?
Orlando, Florida.
All right, take us back to Florida.
Grew up in Orlando, Florida, and I would watch the shows that I would say Tim Conway show, which was from Carol Burnett, and I would stay up and I would watch the Tonight Show, and they would always say, we are filming in beautiful downtown Burbank. Okay, I'm watching the Beverly Hillbillies, and like, we're filming in downtown Burbank, we're filming in LA, and I'm like, I gotta get to California, I got to get to LA, because that's where all the funny people are. I gotta get there. So that was always my drive. If I get there, then they're gonna be like, welcome. Welcome. That is not the case. That is not the case. So you try to get an agent, you try to go on auditions, and people are like, oh, you're too old, you're too fat, you're too black for this, you're too tall for that, and you're like, oh my goodness. But the same things that they're talking about you're too this for works for comedy. You know, those things that you're saying that don't work for you, it works for me and the comedy thing. Now, I was not a late night comic person per se. I didn't love the late night of it because my comedy, I feel like, is more for younger people, and they couldn't get in. Or if they got in, they're with their parents, and who knows what the comedian was saying before or afterwards. You know, it's not like you got all great comedians. You know, you got people who get up on stage and they're trying out their stuff, and sometimes they're just vulgar or just rude or just racist. You know, they're screaming a little more now, but anything went then.
And these comedy clubs,
from a church, or these people I just met in the grocery store, like, come to my show and bring your kid, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's not going to work. So it works much better now because I'm doing a show June 23rd.
Yes.
I don't know when it comes out, when your podcast comes out, but June 23rd in the daytime, 3 o'clock in the comedy club, but everybody can come. You know, it's not the late night thing, it's the early night.
Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. I didn't realize it was at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, so take us back to when you were doing the stand-up in LA, and I'm assuming it was not in the daytime, it was at night, right?
It was at night, and it's scary. It was scary now because it's not like the comedy clubs are in Beverly Hills or in Bel Air. You know, we're in the heart of LA at night. We're talking like 10, 11, 12. You're getting out at 12 midnight, 1 o'clock. You're like hoping that the guy would just get off your car. You know, if you're one of the ones lucky to have a car. Because there were some comedians that I knew from television who were like, okay, you can give me a ride home. You know, I had comedians like, okay, I'll take you home. Wouldn't get out, you know, wouldn't leave because they didn't have a place to go. You're like, I just saw you on TV. You were just on this show the other night. But it's a lot of it's smoke and mirror. Just because you've got 5 minutes here and you're really funny, that don't mean that you have a home, you know. That don't mean that you have food. And I've been there too, you know, because the ups and downs of any industry.
Especially entertainment.
So when the YouTube thing happened, I'm like, I'm out. This is a way for me to go and be funny, and I can still reach people, and I don't have to be dressed. You don't have to be dressed. You can watch it whenever you want to. You can repeat it. You don't have to, at the time, TiVo it or try to tape it, put the tape in, try to tape something. And I'm like, it's all good. If you like me, you watch me. If you don't have to sit through it. You know, it's all good.
What I love about this is that, you know, obviously the nighttime comedy thing, that lifestyle did not work out for you. And what I love about what you're saying and what you said to me before is that you just had the intention to be funny and to just share your work by any means. So the night thing wasn't working. YouTube came out, so you just said, let me jump on here?
Yes, exactly, because the sitcoms that I would watch was all wrapped around comedians. It wasn't always that way, but then there was a trend. Once you had one, the other one started. I'm like, oh, okay. You have your Jerry Seinfelds, Ellen DeGeneres, Roseanne Barr, Rosie O'Donnell, Grace. She had a show, Grace Under Fire. There was everybody that was a comedian who told their stories on stage. They ended up getting a show, and the shows did very well, you know. So that was one of my drives to do stand-up, because my goal was always, I want other kids to watch like I watch. Like, oh, man, I could just get to California. You know, that'd be great to be funny and be like that and just look like that, having a great time. But 30 minutes, you know, 30 minutes was the world. You know, lights are bright. You know, like, oh, okay. I really, really have a thing for television, and I do hope to do it one day. Now that, you know, I feel like I am established in doing things, I still have a love for, I just want to say I was on a sitcom. So that's still a dream.
Oh, and you will be. You will be. And what's so interesting about this, my gosh, I am still learning about, you know, followers and subscribers and likes. But what's happening in the entertainment industry that I find so fascinating right now, you're saying, okay, I really want a sitcom one day. But if anyone will go to your YouTube channel, it already feels like you have one. Just the number of fans alone.
Yes, I have on my, I've had over 1 billion views.
I mean, that's
totally my videos. And I have
1 billion views, you guys. People that are listening, 1 billion views on YouTube.
Right, there's some television shows that don't have that.
Exactly.
It's a television thing, and I'll go back to growing up, and also where I want my mom to be able to see it. You know, it's at the end of the day, I'm like, I want her to return to NBC. I'm like, oh, she's coming on at 7:00, where it doesn't really work outside of that, because it's like, oh, you got to wait to Thursday at 7:00 to watch a show. You know, not when you can just turn on anything on the internet, kind of a thing. But I do like what I pray that happens. You know, while everyone's still here and kicking and doing well.
Oh, it will happen. It will happen. You're working more. You're doing many shoots. For those of you guys listening, I just met GloZell a few weeks ago because she plays one of the characters in this wonderful short film that we just shot. We're still shooting more.
Directed. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think, you know, and it was exciting to be there. And that's another thing. I'm at the point where I'm like, I want to branch out.
Yeah.
You're like, what are you doing? You want to do? I'm like, yes, I do. And it was perfect because I've met some great people that I hope to work with again. I'm sure I will.
Yeah.
And I talked to Sonya today, you know, so I met her on your set. You know, she's been on Seinfeld, my favorite episode. So, you know, she's looking at me like, oh, you're great. I heard of you. Like, you interviewed President Barack Obama. And I'm like, you were on Seinfeld. You were on television, you know. So
the muffin top episode.
Yes, I love that. It was my favorite episode.
So for those of you that don't know, she's talking about Sonia Eddy, who's been on almost freaking every show. She's been on Seinfeld. I know. She's been on Seinfeld quite a few times. And what I always do with my actors, especially actors that I don't know, I always have just a coffee with them, a chit-chat if I've never met them, just to see what their intention is and just to learn about them. So again, I was not aware of the YouTube sensations the way my niece was. So when GloZell and I met, that is true. That's one of the first questions I asked her. I'm like, you've got like a gazillion fans. To me, you have your own show already. Why are you doing this short film? I'm so grateful you are, but I was curious. I really was. And everything you said, GloZell, was right. You said you never know who I'm going to meet. This is an opportunity. I like the script, and boom.
Right. It was one of those things. It did not take up a lot of time. I'm like, it's like if I can't stand everybody, it wasn't going to take that long. I'm like, what if you just had a good time? And I ended up having a great time.
It was a great time.
And also just branching myself out. I'm saying yes to more things, and I love it. I met you, and now I'm doing the podcast here, and I'm reaching somebody else, and someone else is learning about me. So it's all, you know, helping each other. Like someone's gonna go to my channel. Like, I've never heard of her. Like, oh, that's great. So I think your niece got me cast.
No, one of our producers, a casting director, she was looking at our scripts like, this person would be perfect. She sent me a video. I'm like, I don't know who this is, but she's funny. Yes, absolutely. Let's talk to her. What I found interesting about our shoot, and this is just really opening my mind, and especially actors, for those of you listening, like we were literally on this bus stop on Virgil in Los Feliz, Silver Lake, and folks were literally driving by honking, GloZell! I was like, what in the world? The power of YouTube. Who knew?
I did. I'm like, we're going to be outside. I was like, okay. We're going to like literally shoot outside. I'm like, okay. Let's see how that goes. So it wasn't so bad.
It was so cool. It just really brought to me the reality of YouTube. Because a lot of times we're watching things on the internet, it feels just sort of far away. Just sort of like, I don't even know what the word is. But that just really brought it all home for me. And I just thought like, wow, this is really powerful stuff, you know. So guys, whatever channels you have, whether you're an actor and you have your demo reel online, every person that's watching is an actual human being. And I know that, and we all know that, but when you see them in the streets waving to your girl, you're like, oh my goodness, this is something. It was so cool, and you were so gracious, and you waved back to everybody. You were so lovely.
I'm so thankful, especially when you've been at something for 10 years, and people are still recognizing you and telling you how great you are. And there are days that you really need to hear that, because there's days that you forget or is really pushed down that you are a great person and you've done these things, you know, because, oh, I interviewed President Barack Obama. Well, guess what? There's another president. That was a while ago. And this thing, you know, what's the next thing? I hear my daughter at the door. I'm trying to be famous.
So that concludes part 1 of this 2-part episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Until next time, bye.